Stand by. The program will begin soon.
When I see an American flag, I immediately look at that I'm like, that person's probably a bigot. That person's probably a homophobe. That person's probably a racist if they're just flying American flags out everywhere.
Hold up.
Hey, this sounds more like a you problem. You should probably go see somebody about that.
He got over $5 million per year from the American taxpayers, being given no bid contracts from Maine Governor Janet Mills, and is building a military in Somalia. He has been funneling money back to Somalia to build a military in Somalia. The guy is running a migrant services agency that builds Maine Care, which is what we call Medicaid, about $5 million a year. Oh no, those illegal immigrants aren't getting any Medicare. And then he said he raised money in the U.S. to buy weapons, munitions, and supplies for a paramilitary force he had hoped to lead as the president of Jubaland. Yes, that's a real state in Somalia. And to be clear, in Somalia, he's running to be the warlord of Jubaland. Elections in Jubaland aren't exactly like elections in America. It's whoever has the most guns is able to certify the election. So he needed to buy a paramilitary organization and paramilitary support in order to win the election. Avocados Diablias asked if you could bring any one comic strip character to life and train them to be a hitman, who would you choose? Oh, that's the easiest question ever. Calvin. Calvin. Oh, look, Stop Double Nation, you and I are on the same page. Calvin. From Calvin and Hobbes. Yes. And by God, Calvin would be the greatest hitman to ever live. Better than John Wick. I guarantee it. I didn't have to think of it. Stand by. The program will begin soon.
Yes, it's true. The Obama administration deported over 3 million people. In the Biden administration, over 4 million people. But they didn't need troops. They didn't need military in the streets to do it. Tell me why. Put it in the chat. Tell me why you think that's that.
Because when Obama and Biden were in office, there were no riots in the streets of Los Angeles, even though 80% of the deportations were also expedited with no hearing. But you didn't give a shit then. Now that Trump's in office, you suddenly give a shit. Hope that helps.
That turkey was amazing, mostly because I cooked it, because I'm really good at cooking turkey. So one of my tricks new tricks that I do, you know how when you cook a turkey in a pan, even if you got one of those raised pans, it always happens, you cook this turkey and the breast of the turkey get all nice, the top gets all nice and brown, and then you go to cut the underside and the thighs and legs are like all white underneath and not even done. Well, there's a trick you can do to avoid that. What you do is you cook the bird upside down for at least 1/3 of the cooking time. So you end up browning the bottom and sealing that first, even more so. And the other thing I do is I start my oven at 500 degrees. The first 45 minutes to an hour, you put it at 500 degrees, and then you turn it down to 325 and do the rest of the cooking. But anyway, do it upside down, and 1/3 of the way through, then you flip the bird back over in the pan, and the entire bird gets finished at the same time. So apparently, in Europe, you can refer to Americans as pigs. but not convicted rapists. The German court gives woman harsher punishment than convicted. I hate when people say rapist. I'll just say unwanted sexual activity peoples for calling him a disgraceful pig. She called someone convicted of that crime a disgraceful pig and got a harsher punishment than the person who actually committed unwanted sexual activity. And so that's why people were posting that story about the German court gives women harsher punishment than convicted unwanted sexual activity.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's a story about this man too. He led the attack on Pearl Harbor but died a Christian missionary on December 7, 1941. Captain Mitsuo Fuchida flew the lead plane against Pearl Harbor, shouting the famous code, Tora, Tora, Tora. He hated America. But after the war, he met a former American POW, Jacob DeSager, who had returned to Japan not to punish him, but to preach the gospel. Shocked by this forgiveness, Fuchida bought a Bible. He converted to Christianity in 1950. The man who started the Pacific War spent the rest of his life touring the U.S. and Japan preaching. Quote, I was a follower of the sword. Now I'm a follower of the cross. Amazing. Nearly 5 years after pipe bombs were discovered outside the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee in Washington, D.C., a suspect has been arrested in the case. On Thursday, federal agents arrested Brian Cole Jr., 30 of Woodbridge, Virginia, and he was charged with transportation of explosive devices, blah, 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 blah. But on Friday, legacy media outlets began reporting that Cole, this young black man right here, was a Trump supporter. And I'm not saying he's not because he's black. I'm just saying there's other evidence that might support the fact that he's not a Trump supporter. But we'll get to that. Quote, Brian Cole worked for a bail bonds company run by his father that worked to free illegal immigrants from ICE facilities and sued the Trump administration's Department of Homeland Security. He worked for his dad. They tried to free illegal immigrants. Interesting. Yes, I know every Trump supporter, every black supporter, Trump supporter, would be quick to hire Benjamin Crump, who represented the family of Trayvon Martin, attempting to stick the Biden administration Department of Justice on a local Tennessee prosecutor who had raised concerns about the bail bond companies. We'll find out eventually that this guy had wanted nothing to do.
Additionally, if you open this up to ice fishing, while on the surface it sounds good, then what happens next year? Does someone come back and say, I want an ice shanty on Hudson Springs Park for X amount of time? And if you then allow ice fishing with shanties, then that leads to another problem. Prostitution. And now you've got the police chief and the police department involved. Just data points to consider.
It is Happy Bill of Rights Day on December 1791. The Commonwealth of Virginia ratified the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. George Mason and James Madison were the driving forces behind these guarantees of individual rights. And note that all the individual rights that are in the Bill of Rights are not rights granted by the government. Those are the inalienable rights which the government shall not infringe. And if you notice, it's interesting because the Bill of Rights is all about what the government cannot do, not what the government can do. And I think kind of got away from that a little bit, where some people seem to think that the government is going to grant you rights. No, these are rights you have, whether there's a government or not, and the rights that the government must protect for you. So it was a unique thing when it came about in 1791. that government is not there to grant you or give you privileges, but rather to protect the rights that you have.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawgKnight.
Oh yeah, I got a show to do. I'm over here. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. What do I have sitting up there? What is that? I can't even read that. What do I have there? I'm trying to figure out. Hang on a second. Let me see. What is this? Oh, I got the winter heat bill fund up. Yeah, the winter heat bill. Dude, it's not so bad. We've gotten there, even though we didn't finish it in January. Anyway, what the hell did I just do? What did I just do? Anyway, hi, how you doing? What's today? It's Thursday. It's FTG Thursday. And I've got all this stuff open and I didn't even think about FTGs today. I should have. And did I move myself? What the hell did I do there? What is going on? I am having just some weird technical difficulties today. All right. Is that back? Is it normal now? Am I in the corner where I'm supposed to be? Nobody puts baby in a corner, but I put myself in the corner. Anyway, happy Thursday, the 26th of February, 2026. And my God, people are still all bitching about the hockey team. And so I'll give you a couple little highlights, but we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. Plus, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. Boats being shot and at near Cuba. There's what else? The electric. They've got a plan for these data centers that are taking up all this electricity and raising fuel prices. But my God, this has people talking, claiming that the U.S. men's hockey team was. The controversy is that Donald Trump fed them McDonald's, which it was not even McDonald's as I looked at it. I'm like, since when does McDonald's put their food in foil? Anyway, we'll get caught up in the news. That's what we do every day. See what's happening, what's trending, what are people talking about, and what are the stories that my favorite platform thinks important today. So we'll get to some of those, plus a few news articles, and then we'll be on our merry way, as opposed to our gay way, which is the same thing if it's the 1940s, because, no one said, I don't know what people called gay people in the 40s. Probably started with an F. Anyway, hi. So shall we do this thing? Let's say hi to the people in the chat. First in the chat, of course, Mr. Avocados Diabli. Yeah, baby. And sir, you get the bell. Ding, you get the bell because you were first. Also, good morning, Blue-Eyed Scream. Our young friend Midnight, a.k.a. Unholy Queen. Also, Mike Savage, Blarg. Maddie's in the house. Hi, Maddie. And, oh, my God. Yeah, she mentioned the Tourette's thing. Oh, I feel so bad for that, man. People who don't understand how Tourette's work are just raging against the poor guy. And it's like, anyway, he can't help it. Hello, coffee wisdom. Sometimes I wonder what superpower I would have. But then I remember I need coffee to function. I hear you. I got the old USS Arizona cup today. Also, good morning, Aaron Meredith. What's up? Selected boys in the house. Yes. Yeah, also, boy. The Pope is here. Pope Tyrannus III. Oh, hi, JB. I skipped JB. How did I skip JB? Hi, JB. Also, Pope Tyrannus III. The blessed list with today's message of hope, not from the Father, not from the Son, but from the Holy Ghost. Is that music really loud when I play it? Because it's really loud in my ear. I don't know how to turn it down for me, but not for thee. I think it's normal, level for you guys, but it's really loud for me. I can barely hear myself when that music plays. Oh, it is really loud? Okay, good. Okay, it's supposed to be. Anyway, today's blessing of hope, blessing of the Holy Ghost. Remember to find joy in the small things. We are surrounded by many small things. Wait, what? Oh, man, I'm going to start over. I think I read that wrong. Blessings of the Holy Ghost. Remember to find joy in the small things. We are surrounded by many small things. If you find joy in it, you will find great happiness all around. That's a great message, because you can't always just be upset by big things when there's so many joyful things you can find in small things. Sometimes but guess what? There's a lot more small things than big things. So if you find joy in small things, you can find lots of little pieces of joy that help you create big joy, right? Okay. Also, let's see. Anybody else here? Select a boy. Yeah, boy. And Johnny Boomer Tag. I think that's everything. Oh, Darren Root's in the house. What's up? YouTube was weird yesterday. Why is that? I'm not sure. And how high were the burgers? Well, so first of all, Inside Noble Nation, what's up? Circling word salad on the bingo card. I don't know what that means. Was I doing word salad? Was I doing word salad? Happy Thursday. It's kind of every day. So anyway, let's thank the people sharing the stream. Starting with our young friend Midnight, who I've already attempted to repost, but I can't. I don't know why. I still haven't figured that out, Midnight. I follow you, and you follow me. I'm not sure what that means. So anyway, thank you for posting the stream. Also, Mike Savage with the Day to Let Us Go. Got Somnambule Nation posting the stream. We got a little hockey let's go from this dude. Yeah, let's go from the hockey guy. Thank you for that. Maddie posting the show. Ty Alexander, a.k.a. the Pope, retweeting the stream. Also, Somnambule Nation. And our daily Ric Flair. Woo! And then someone named Judith Cooper followed me. I don't know why, but I'm glad. Okay, so thank you everyone sharing the stream. If you haven't done so, click that link at the top of the chat and reply to it saying, let's go, with a meme or a GIF. And I'm not going to call it a GIF anymore. Also, thank you, JB. I see you there doing the work, and I'm reposting that too, even though I'm not putting it on the screen. All right, you're going to make a new account so you can repost my tweets. Oh, okay. And then maybe some people follow you and all that. Hello, Attack Alpaca. I see you. You made it. I was wondering where you were. Okay, so thank you, everyone, sharing the stream. All right, let's get right into it. Now, when I went on X this morning, interesting thing that I noticed right away was, and I'm not gonna do I make this a separate post? Yeah, I'm going to. Some Canadian dude made this, and I think it's a little bit funny. It is. This little thing, it says this is some Canadian who's not happy about us meaning the U.S., spelled the U.S., and posted this thing about the resistance has come to Canada. And I find it a little humorous because, I have to have a sense of humor about this stuff. Because I don't know that we necessarily really want Canada as our 51st state. It's not, that's not really, I don't know if Trump was ever serious about that. I think he just wanted a bigger partnership and whatever. But I found this funny, and I don't know if I can get, I have no idea if I can get copyrighted this, but let's watch this. I'm finding it humorous. And I love the fact that are they carrying, what's that coffee place that's really popular in Canada? Can't remember. So anyway, here it is. It's a little bit funny. Yeah, Tim Hortons cups. So here it is. Which, first of all, I like the grizzly bears and the beavers and the Mounties coats. Hello, Ghost Wolf Pro, welcome. But it's funny. Well, I'll tell you why in a minute.
There was a time our border ran free and wide, no walls, no fences, neighbors living side by side, poutine and burger shared through snow and rain.
Poutine and burger. Obviously, it's written by a Canadian.
We fought the same wars and carried the same pain, but an orange.
And we still will. Oh, but they got Trump at the big diaper Trump.
Man came pounding on our door with 51st state fantasies we won't ignore. We're done with the sorries and keeping the peace. Canadian resistance, it's time to gather the beast. Not your.
Now it's funny because if I made a counter to this with like American shit, yeah, the moose are concerning, but we have grizzly bears too. We have beavers too. But we have, he's got geese up there. We have eagles. Anyway.
51st state, that fantasy is lost. We'll kick the orange man out at any cost.
I like how they put the Native American dude in front, or I'm sorry. I said Native American. And what do they call them up there? First Nations people? You know what I mean. Indians.
Beavers build moose, charge rangers lead the way. Canada stays ours.
Yeah, you can keep Canada. It's okay. I have no problem with Canadians. I have no problem with Canada. There's beautiful country everywhere. I just think it's funny. By the way, the guns. The guns kind of funny. Hello, Tyler F. The guns are kind of funny. Also, I think most guns that Canadian use for war are made here. So if this really came to fruition, we would just stop supplying guns. They'd have to start making their own guns.
It's all here, officer. I'm just a tourist. Sorry, sir. No Americans allowed.
Yeah.
Beavers build a dam along the line. The most beautiful border wall of all time. Moose block the highways with a 1,000-pound stare. Grizzlies chase off whoever stuck out there. Raccoons rig the traps with their clever paws. Geese fly in V formation.
Now, I'm curious, too, if this was made by a Canadian or by an American. Because I don't know. It's funny. I thought it was the 52nd. Did Greenland not go through? Yeah, Greenland didn't go through. Sorry. That's funny. But anyway.
Enforcing nature's laws. No more sorry and no more please. We will bring the big talker to his knees. Not your 51st state. That fantasy is lost. We'll kick the orange man out at any cost. Beavers build moose, charge rangers lead the way. Canada stays ours, come what may.
Okay. Oh, we have moose too. We have moose in northern Minnesota. Not as many as they have in Canada, but I don't know they have trained moose in Canada that can, fight wars or whatever. Yeah, now they're all about border security. I don't get it. But I find this entertaining though. I like it. It's, I like it when Canadians get feisty. It's cool to me. I don't have any problem with this. Like someone the other day was complaining and saying, oh my gosh, Canada's destroyed the United States economy because we don't have Canadians going to, Florida. They're going to Mexico instead. And then all this shit popped off in Mexico. But what I don't get, Canada has about 41 million people. I mean, they're cold California basically, right? And, Canadian people are awesome. I love Canadian people. The ones I know I like. But it's just there's different countries. It's okay to be different countries and be a little bit different. You got snow Mexicans. Don't call them snow Mexicans. They're just Canadians. But it's like I don't know that the 350 million people that we have are intimidated by the 41 million people that Canada has. Now they have a lot of land and resources and stuff, and we appreciate it. And but I don't know. We got to figure this out. We got to figure it out. I don't get it. Anyway, thank you, JB. Says I went to college in the city that makes the LAVs for the military. It's a terrible place. Where is that? Just put it in the regular chat. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. $5 Canadian. About is it $4.20 now? How much? Siri. Convert $5 Canadian to American dollars. Oh, for fuck's sake. Here we go. It's 363. Okay, I was going to say about 360. That's about right. But Canada's a really expensive place to live. It really is really expensive to live in Canada compared to here. And I don't know if they realize that. And also, you know, our economy is not going to go to our knees because we lost a little bit of tourism. And in fact, I'm pretty sure Canada imports a lot more things from us than we from them. I think there might be a slight trade imbalance. I don't know. And I know, especially refined fuel, that's why so much Canadian oil comes here in the first place, because we refine it here and send it back. We're able to, you know, refine the sludge that comes from Canada, the sands, you know, and I don't mean sludge like in a derogatory way. It's just a different grade of oil that takes a special kind of refining. We refine it, most of it here, and then sell it back to you. So, you know, so I don't know. I'd rather be a partner with Canada than an enemy anyway. Anyway, here we go. But I like this video. I think it's hilarious. I think it's great. You know, I like it.
Out the border with a steady eye. Hockey players hold their ground beneath Canadians.
Oh, wait a minute. The far better Canadian hockey team proves you don't have to be the best to lose. And I'm saying, you know, Moose will charge you regardless of your American or Canadian. That is true. That is true. Yeah, they went a little too soon with the Canadian hockey team there.
Sky, Tim's at dawn keeps the resistance alive.
Again, I don't know if a Canadian made this or if an American made it. I'm just saying. Is this really, you know, I don't know. What would if we were going to make an exact same video but the other way, what are some of the places that you would put in there, you know, look, if you got Tim Hortons, I'll take the staff of all the Waffle Houses in the United States, and I think that would be just enough to take care of Canada. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, then they throw out a few Popeyes and whatever, but give me the Waffle House employees. They whoop your ass. Anyway.
Doubles carry us through the night. Lobsters move deep down on the ocean floor. They cut the neighbor's fiber to our shore. Our patience is gone. Politeness cast away. Your endless greed ends here today.
This is a funny video, though. I kind of like it.
Not your 51st state. That fantasy is lost. We'll kick the orange man out at any cost. Beavers build moose, charge rangers lead the way.
It's also funny that they, the moose are hitting Toyotas. That's interesting. But you know, put the moose up against an armored vehicle. Well, the moose would probably still win because moose are pretty fucking awesome, strong animals. But whatever, you know what I mean? And why are you putting him up? Why are you putting the moose up against a Toyota? Where's that picture of the moose? And he's like, oh, that is a Ford, I guess. That's a Ford. Oh, I see. These are actually, oh my God, are these old Crown Vics and a couple pickups? Wait a minute, but there's a Tesla back there. There's a Toyota. Oh no, that might be a Buick. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying. Why are they putting him up against those? All right, let's get back to this.
Canada stays ours, come what may.
I do like this though. I don't know why I like it. Look, it's flying Canadian rats. God, we get it. So many Canadian geese here. You know that I live north of half of the population in Canada. Half the population in Canada lives south of Minneapolis. Do you know that? Because they're all in the warmer parts of Canada. But anyway. You know, it's funny too. So they're simulating destroying a big balloon, right? If this really came to fruition, you think that's all we throw at them? I'm just saying. Okay. I'm gonna do a little Q&A here. Okay. If you're gonna make that, if you were going to make the counter video. What characters and I'll say just characters, but what characters and restaurants would you use? There we go. I just spelled restaurants wrong, though. All right, that'll be in the Q&A. I'll try to remember to get to that, but here, let's fix that. Restaurants. All right, there's our Q&A. We're going to make a counter to the Canada. Again, I do like this. I think it's very clever, well thought out in some ways, although, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I like it. I don't know why. All right. Did my Q&A go up? Yes, it did. Okay. Put your some of your best counter animals, characters, restaurants, whatever. Again, I'm saying, give me the staff of the Waffle Houses of the United States of America, and y'all motherfuckers would be in trouble. I'm just saying. That'd be the toughest place to go in the world. So they popped a giant balloon. Okay, that's clever though. I'm impressed. This is clever. It is amazing that Canadians actually believe we couldn't, if we wanted to, invade and take over the country so quickly, we'd be home in time for dinner. Well, not necessarily, but I appreciate Canadians. I appreciate what you did in World War II. I appreciate our neighborly, our neighborliness, and it's just, but this is funny. Tyre says, Kazakhstan doesn't have the NGA, Necromancer Guild of America. We are strongly in favor of the Orange Man. We would get the call, and Kazakhstan would be America's in 20 minutes tops. Yeah, it'd take more than 20 minutes, but, it's funny. Oh, my gosh. Anyway, oh, remember when the Chinese troops were trained in winter warfare here in Canada at PM Trudeau's request? I do. Thanks, Team Canada. Now stop. I wonder if this is still a concern for President Trump and our American neighbors. Lost Freedom Files number 1594. Look, and our winter troops probably train in Minnesota and Montana and everywhere north. We have too. Look, I just find this is hilarious, and that's it. All right, let's move on. Before I get to a lot of the other news, one of the big trending. Oh! I didn't even say the holidays. All right, we'll do it quickly. Holidays. Holiday. Doom. What should we be celebrating today? Did I make that a? Okay, I did make that a thing. All right. First of all, one of the trending topics that popped up and that a lot of people are talking about is today's would have been Jackie Gleason's 110th birthday. Now, I'm glad he's not 110 and that he's because he'd have been in trouble. He'd have been in pain and all that shit. Hello, Chris, by the way. Pythons and Gators and Florida man. And fentanyl crawl dodging human bombs in the streets. Yeah, put those in the Q&A. I will try to get to that today. Remind me about quarter after the hour. All right. Jackie Gleason, great comedian and character actor. Done a lot of movies. Smokey and the Bandit was one of those legendary characters. But it also the Jackie Gleason Show, pioneer in television. Happy birthday to the great one, Jackie Gleason. Born in Brooklyn in 1916, Gleason rose to the great one through the Honeymooner sitcom, films like Smokey and the Bandit, an Oscar-nominated role in The Hustler. As Minnesota Fats fan, share a silent comedy mastery, improvised rants, and dancing flair. and one praising a honeymooner's clip as pure brilliance via facial expressions alone. While most hail his versatility, actor Jason Patrick shared memories of Gleason as a distant grandfather. What? Why are we talking about that? It's his birthday. Say the nice shit about him. Good Lord. Anyway, happy birthday to the great one, Jackie Gleason. Other holidays celebrated today would be Tell a Fairy Tale Day, which was it. That's why they made that video. That's why the Canadian dude made the video. Also, Black Lives Matter Day. Yay! I matter today. Damn it, I matter every day. Carnival Day, still celebrating Carnival. National Toast Day. Make yourself some toast, throw a little butter and some jam on it, and enjoy your toast. For Pete's sake, I have no idea what that is. It just says For Pete's Sake Day. For Pete's sake. National Pistachio Day, one of my favorite nuts and snacks. National Chili Day. Oh gosh, I should make a pot of chili. We just finished a pot of chili I made from last weekend, and it was delicious. I make very good chili, and I don't really have a recipe. I just throw a bunch of stuff in the pot and make it work, because I don't really measure my spices. But my secret is throwing a little hot Italian sausage in the chili. Gives it a little extra flavor. Sometimes I'll throw some chorizo in there too, but it's mostly ground beef, Italian sausage, spices, tomatoes, green chilies is important. And if I want to make it hot, I'll throw a little cayenne in with all the other ingredients. What beans do you use? It depends. Like for 2 weekends ago, I made some chili specifically for chili dogs. No beans in that chili. But usually I do a mixture of black beans, northern whites, and kidney beans, and what's the other one? I usually use four types of beans. And beans or no beans, it just depends on what the chili's for. If it's for like a meal, just eating chili, I will put beans in it. But if I'm doing it for chili dogs, I will not put beans in it, because you don't need no beans in a goddamn hot dog. Chili dogs need red kidney beans. Personally, I use black. No beans in the chili for hot dogs. Just a bunch of chili, the meat, and whatnot. I also make it, when I make it for chili dogs, I make it a little bit thicker. If I'm doing it for just eating as chili, I make it a little bit, I wouldn't say thin, because you don't want thin runny chili, but chili. Just make it a little bit thinner than that. Anyway, letter to an elder day. Write someone you know that's older than you, and don't send me letters or emails. Oh, and Ms. Wildwolf, I do remember I got to get you the address. All right, International Tongue Twister Contest Day. Uh-oh. Anyone have a favorite tongue twister? You can try it. I'll try it. Carpe Diem Day, Digital Learning Day, Thermos Bottle Day. Grab yourself a Stanley thermos. Greatest thing. Levi Strauss Day. Kuwait Liberation Day, National Saul Day. If your name is Saul, better call Saul. What is your address? Yeah, I might get a post office box one of these days just to send shit to me. I don't need my address going out on the internet, but I might do a P.O. box someday. All right, there you go. That's what we're celebrating today. Yippee. Moving on. All right, we did the Canadian thing. Oh, did I do this twice? No, I didn't. There we go. All right, other things, there's a thing going on in Geneva right now. There's talks in Geneva going on right now. I guess between the Iranians and the rest of the world. Round 3 of high-stakes U.S.-Iran nuclear talks began in Geneva as Secretary of State Marco Rubio warns it's a big, big problem if Iran refuses to negotiate on ballistic missiles. Here's Brandon Strzok put up
main
a Fox.
Flaws. Iran's foreign minister said many see this meeting as a last-ditch attempt to prevent a war. And it comes, of course, as we near President Donald Trump's previous deadline. Now, last Thursday, the president said Tehran had 10 to 15 days to make a meaningful deal with Washington over its nuclear program, or the U.S. would take military action. President Trump has repeatedly said he'd prefer to solve this diplomatically. Well, Axios reports that White House envoy Steve Witkoff told a private gathering on Tuesday that the Trump administration is demanding that Iran agree any future nuclear deal will remain in effect indefinitely. President Trump and other critics of the 2015 Iran nuclear deal negotiated by the Obama administration seized on the sunset provisions as one of its main flaws. Iran's foreign minister says his country is not ready to give up what he calls peaceful nuclear technology and warned it will retaliate.
Peaceful nuclear technology. Oh, like nuclear generated power? But that's not what they were doing. Hello, by the way, Lord Stanhope, I see you.
If attacked, with U.S. bases in the region seen as a potential target. Secretary of State Marco Rubio had this to say.
I want everyone to understand that beyond just the nuclear program, they possess these conventional weapons that are solely designed to attack America and attack Americans if they so choose to do so. These things have to be addressed. They already possess weapons.
Man, I hope we're not getting into a fucking Iraq
as we speak.
Situation.
And the ranges continue to grow every single year exponentially, which is amazing to me for a country that's facing sanctions, whose economy is in tatters, whose people are suffering, and somehow they still find the money to invest in missiles of greater and greater capacity every year. This is an unsustainable threat.
And the U.S. is continuing to bolster its military power in the region. Again, all eyes on this critical meeting. We'll see
what are we doing? You hope that you hope something happens correct. Anyway, report: U.S. Senator nuclear talks in Geneva demanding Iran dismantle facilities at Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan, transfer all enriched uranium to the U.S. and accept the deal with no sunset clauses. Per the Wall Street Journal, U.S. demands. So we did that. No sunset. Zero enrichment, but can keep the Tehran reactor. Minimal sanctions. Relief upfront. More if Iran is compliant. So that's what they're looking for. And pretty much everyone's saying the same thing about it. If you want to read here's a New York Post article about it if you'd like to read that. And that'll give you a little more information. Other news, apparently the wildfire suits in California are beginning. This is from Illegal Insurrection. Deluge of wildfire lawsuits hit Los Angeles and California. As the East Coast is being struck by a snow hurricane. The West Coast seems quiet. However, Los Angeles and California are now being slammed by a deluge of lawsuits stemming from the city and state government's many failures to prepare for and respond to Santa Ana-driven wildfires, which are an expected occurrence in this region of the country. To begin with, the city of Malibu has filed a new civil complaint in Los Angeles County Superior Court seeking to recover fire-related losses from the state of California, the city of Los Angeles County, and the Department of Power and Water, and several park entities over the January 2025 disaster. Malibu is filing suit against the state of California, all those other people. The officials confirmed Wednesday that the city has filed a civil complaint in the Los Angeles County Superior Court with a list of defendants that included the California Department of Parks and Recreation, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, the Mountain Recreation and Conservation Authority, and the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy. Malibu officials said the decision was necessary to recoup losses that affect the long-term fiscal implications for Malibu and its taxpayers, according to the news release. The complaint does not list a specific dollar amount the city is seeking in damages, which is odd. You'd think they'd calculate something out, but, juries might just say, fuck it, give them the whole fucking bag. California and Los Angeles must pay the city of Malibu at least tens of billions of dollars in damages for creating the conditions that led to the 2025 Palisades fire, which wiped out 1/3 of the Oceanside community, the city said in a lawsuit. So that a quote from Bloomberg. Also, let's see, LADWP. What is that? LADWP. It's being coordinated by the existing Palisades fires Malibu case is being coordinated with the existing Palisades fire mass tort cases already pending before Judge Samantha Jessner in the LA Superior Court. Oh, that's what it is. You may recall one of the reservoirs that could have been used to fight the fire was dry as it was supposed to be repaired. Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag, best known for their roles in MTV The Hills, filed a lawsuit against the city of Los Angeles, alleging that negligence by the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power contributed to the destruction of their Pacific Palisades homes. So this is going to get nasty. It's going to be prolonged. And a judge has already denied motions to dismiss that the LAWP had hoped would stop the lawsuit, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. In a significant victory for the victims, Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Samantha Jesser on Thursday concluded that the unique California law that allows property and business owners to pursue claims that the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power failed to supply enough water to fight the blaze that consumed the Pacific Palisades fire. So they didn't get out of it by asking for the lawsuit to be dismissed. And then also Southern California Edison has extended more than 500 compensation offers totaling $165 million to individuals and businesses affected by the Eaton fires, which destroyed more than 9,400 structures in the Altadena, Pasadena, and Sierra Madre. While the SC is facing legal action by the Department of Justice, it's also seeking to spread the blame among county water agencies. So they're trying to spread the anti-wealth, so to speak. And then as these lawsuits unfold, one can only hope that justice is served not just for the victims of these devastating fires, but for the communities left vulnerable by years of neglect and misplaced priorities. So there you go. You can read more details if you click on the different links in the article. Also in the news, from the Daily Wire, J.D. Vance has taken first major action as the fraud czar with the sites on my lovely state, the city of Minnesota. Vice President J.D. Vance announced on Wednesday that the Trump administration would withhold nearly $260 million in Medicaid funding for the Democrat-controlled Minnesota state government following the state's massive fraud scandal. Vance, who was maybe trapped too. Let's see if he's does a job like Kamala Harris does as the border czar. He was tapped by President Donald Trump to lead the administration's anti-fraud crackdown during the State of the Union address on Tuesday night and said that Minnesota must prove that it takes its obligations seriously to be good stewards of the American people's tax money. According to Vance, the Trump administration is withholding reimbursements for Medicaid services that Minnesota already paid for out of the state budget. What this means, first of all, the providers on the ground in Minnesota will have have actually already been paid, Vance said in a press conference alongside Dr. Mehmet Oz, the administrator for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. What we're doing is we're stopping the federal payments that will go to the state government until the state government takes its obligations seriously to stop the fraud that's being perpetrated against American taxpayers. So anyway, our government officials are very upset about this, and I understand why. But there's been, look, Medicaid and Medicare monies administered by the state and then reimbursed by the federal government has been nuts here. And I hope they fix it. I know people who are on Medicare, so I'm concerned for people that I know. And I'm concerned for people I don't know that actually need this. Problem is, the state's been going willy-nilly. What was it? By the way, so there was a news report here that you haven't probably seen nationally yet, but they were looking at the autism centers, for example, and found that like 6 of like 140 autism centers were legit. And all those autism centers were getting money, I think from, I want to say Medicaid, maybe from Medicare too. So, and look, and it's not just Minnesota, but the spotlight was put on Minnesota because of that daycare video, right? And so they're all still mad at Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley probably needs to get a bodyguard because Governor Walz might send some assassins out after him. I don't know. Anyway, Minnesota state leaders, including Democratic Governor Tim Walz, were informed of the Trump administration's move, according to Oz, who said the federal government will hold the Medicaid payments until Minnesota properly addresses the fraud. If Minnesota fails to clean up the systems, the state will rack up $1 billion of deferred payments this year. Oz assured reporters that Medicaid funding freeze would not hurt Minnesota residents since the state's budget has a rainy day fund to cover the lapse in funding. The problem is our government in their budget looks like they're already going to have a $6 billion deficit through the next, 3 years? So they're already probably dipping into the so-called rainy day fund. So I hope they get all this shit straightened out. They zeroed in on 14 state programs in Minnesota, which includes autism service providers and medical service transport that the administration believes are rife with fraud. The Trump administration has given Walz 60 days to respond to its letter informing the state government of its freeze of Medicaid funding. So, yeah, the transportation fraud especially, and also in the transportation fraud, they've been doing even interpreter fraud. So there's all these transportation companies that just don't do anything. They have people driving around in empty vans, and then they also claim interpreter services, but with like $100 an hour, but minimum 8 hours of service. So they can bill $800 a day for interpreter service that probably never even got used, because most of the Somalis here speak English. A lot of them lived here long enough to speak English. So why are they having interpreter services? Anyway, good morning, Ann. I see you. Welcome. So anyway, there's that one. Also in the news, in California, parents are suing the state education system over anti-Semitic propaganda and harassment. And they're saying that Jewish students are being segregated. A group of Jewish parents sued the California state education system on Thursday, alleging that the state's public schools have become anti-Semitic cesspools in which Jewish students are segregated and pulled out of classes so that teachers can spew anti-Israel and other anti-Semitic propaganda without pushback, according to a copy of the first of its kind lawsuit shared with the Washington Free Beacon, the California State Board of Education, the California Department of Education, and State Superintendent Tony Thurmond fostered a hostile environment through all of California, ignoring numerous reports from parents whose children have been targeted solely for being Jewish, according to the complaint. In one case, a teacher punished a 12-year-old student because he was a Jew who dared to wear Jewish and Israeli symbols. In another case, a 9th grade art teacher organized a walkout in support of Palestine that featured chants, "Fuck the Jews," sorry, YouTube, I'm just quoting, when one parent spoke up about the issue during a school board meeting, faculty members mocked her and called her a Zionist Nazi biatch. They all seem nice. So anyway, yeah, where's GD and Midnight too? Not that Midnight and Excellent. Hello, Special Can Acid. So anyway, there's more details in that article. That's interesting. And Trump has also announced a deal. This was my kind of sub-headline today. Trump announced his deal to have tech companies shoulder the burden of AI data center costs, which I'm trying to figure out who else would be burdening the cost of the data centers. But I think this is in regard to electricity infrastructure. President Trump used a State of the Union address on Tuesday to announce deals with major tech companies to ensure data centers cover more of the cost needed in powering artificial intelligence. And because they're using up a lot of power, and it's going to cause your electricity prices, electricity demand to go up wherever they go. And we've got one being built not too far from where I live. So I kind of hope that they also, with these tech companies who are making billions of dollars, hope they contribute to the grid a little bit to help power all this shit that they're bringing in here. So, quote, "We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed. So I'm telling companies they can build their own plant and produce their own electricity," Trump said during a speech. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe they could sell any excess power they build with their plants too. Trump said that these tech companies have the obligation to provide their own power needs. "I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity." Reports ahead of the speech suggested that the policy is referred to as ratepayer protection pledges. John Burnham, who works at the government affairs for XAI, said, quote, "Proud to be part of this initiative. XAI has never caused our neighbors' electricity bills to rise. When our team builds supercomputers, that includes power. When our supercomputers go into orbit, there will be even more Earth power for the Earthlings." That's a weird way to say it. "You Earthlings, we will have more power." Microsoft praised the agreements on Tuesday night, and Google and Anthropic announced these cost-conscious pledges ahead of Trump's address to Congress. Energy Secretary Chris Wright said that the brand name companies have agreed to the program. So, yeah, I should friggin' hope so. But it's going to be interesting because I think it's I think it's Google's doing a giant data center near where I live. And maybe they'll build their own power plant along with it. Who knows? They got the money to do it. What the hell? And then also there's a article in the Daily Wire about this. Grassroots anti-big tech movement is exploding across the country. AI and data centers have become a lightning rod political issue and will likely play roles in the upcoming 2026 midterm elections. Although Americans appear to be conflicted on whether the expansion of data centers will be a good or bad thing, a very vocal and passionate slice of the population is racking up anti-tech wins and causing a big stir at the local level. In New Jersey and New Brunswick, residents were able to kill a plan to build a new AI data center. Now a public park will be built on the land instead. You know, it's a mixed blessing when they build one of these things near you. Is it going to bring jobs? Is it going to bring revenue to that area? But also it's going to take a lot of electricity, and demand for electricity means higher electricity costs. During a heated city council meeting concerning data centers in Claremore, Oklahoma, local Darren Blanchard was arrested by police after he exceeded his allotted 3-minute speaking time. The city council ordered him to be removed, and Blanchard was subsequently arrested for trespassing. Oh, you don't want that. The data center backlash has spread as far as Denver and Wisconsin, all the way to New York State, which is now considering a total moratorium on data center construction. According to a report from Data Center Watch, between May 2024 and March 2025, $64 billion in data center projects were either blocked or delayed. So look, two things. They're noisy and they take a lot of electricity. So the idea that Trump says, hey, you got to start building your own power is probably a good idea. So there you go. All right. I got to get through some of these headlines, and then we'll get to the Q&A that I did here. Let me replace the pinned message. If you want to sponsor the show, you can do that at PDawgKnight.live/tip. There's a link at the top of the chat there. Moving on, some of the well, let's talk about hockey. Let's talk about hockey, because every day there's a news story about hockey. First of all, people bitching about the phone call, the infamous phone call, which, you know, that phone call he made to the men's hockey team, and he said, we're going to have to invite the women too, and because if I didn't, I would be impeached. What was the joke? What was the funny part of that? Okay, what was the intended funny part of that joke? I say that he would be impeached if he didn't invite them. However, when he made that joke, he knew fully well that he had already invited them, and in fact, they had already turned down the invitation, and not because of politics, but because the women's team, most of them had to get back to their either professional women's hockey league or their college teams, who are all scheduled to continue to play after the Olympics. So it was a scheduling issue, and they were going to have a separate White House visit after the team's seasons ended. That was what they had said prior to even talking to the men's hockey team, before they even won the gold medal. Okay? But now everyone's like, oh, they denied it because of these Donald Trumps, this and that, and Orange Man bad and whatever. Which some of the players did make it political, a few, but for the most part, whatever. Then there was the phone call. And everyone's up in arms in the phone call and bitching about the men's hockey team, saying, oh, they celebrated at a club that sometimes is a strip club in Miami and all this other shit, right? Well, now, today, we're still talking about hockey. First of all, this was one of the feature stories on X today. President Trump serves McDonald's to gold medal winning USA hockey team at the White House. The gold medal winning hockey team visited the White House. President Trump served them McDonald's. Now, first of all, let's look at I don't want to play the music because I don't play the music. But I'm looking at this. As I look at this picture and this video, first of all, I don't even think this is McDonald's. McDonald's isn't served in foil wrap. McDonald's doesn't have these giant burritos. I think this is just something they made up for him in the afternoon. And guess what? So what? So what? Are any of them complaining? This was just a quick meal. before a White House visit, right? This is not like a formal dinner. This was just kind of lunch, right? But lots of people like to talk about it. Laugh my ass. Of course, Trump fed the U.S. hockey team McDonald's. Yay, maha. Posting this really reveals your true colors. Keep it going. What is this? What did they post? Oh, they might have already taken it down. So anyway, some people are noting that this probably isn't McDonald's. And other was, oh, fucking embarrassing. The gold medal win U.S. hockey team visits the White House and Trump serves at McDonald's. I don't even know why it's embarrassed. Hungover, exhausted, a little bit. Mickey D said, fix her right up. Why did Krasenstein even said that? Why did Trump feed the U.S. men's gold-winning hockey team cheeseburgers? Is the economy really this bad? I'm pretty sure the players didn't give a fuck. This was just a quick snack before they went to the State of the Union. It wasn't like they had a formal meal. Oh, this is the perfect analogy of the Trump administration. Spent $500 gazillion for Trump's self-aggrandizing ballroom and $200 for McDonald's to feed the Olympic gold medal champions, who, by the way, are professional athletes and generally don't eat this shit. How do you know what they eat? Hockey players are a pretty surly bunch, and I swear to God, I bet you these guys eat as much McDonald's as anybody else. But anyway, so a lot of people bitched about that, okay? Then someone decided to post this. Because apparently Stanley Tucci, the actor who lives in Italy and has this little show about eating in Italy, people are posting this. Wow, look everyone. Stanley Tucci treats the U.S. women's hockey team to one of his favorite restaurants in Milan. Oh, yeah. And so someone says, meanwhile, the women's hockey team had a gourmet dinner with Stanley Tucci. Now, what's humorous about this line of thought is Stanley Tucci did not treat the women's gold medal winning hockey team to a dinner in Milan at his favorite restaurant. Stanley Tucci had 5 of the U.S. women's hockey team players join him for lunch as part of his show that he puts on. I don't even know where the show goes. But this also happened on, February 10th. Stanley Tucci's an actor. He's an actor. If you'll recognize him, there's Stanley Tucci. You recognize him now? He's an actor. But he did it. He had 5 players join him, probably for his show. And it was before they even played the games. Now, Flavor Flav, he did invite them to a celebration in Las Vegas. But again, a lot of them had scheduling conflicts, but a lot of them went, whatever. So these people are just, they can't, this is such, it's truly deranged. This is like this guy, Bill Madden. He's one of these total anti-Trump people, right? Does nothing but post Trump. Love this photo of Stanley Tucci and the U.S. women's gold medal hockey team while the men were treated by America's pedophile president to Big Macs. Tucci took the winners to one of his favorite restaurants. Except he only took 5 of them, and they hadn't won yet. Stupidity. Stupido. You're El Stupido. Hey, El Stupido. So anyway, but it's cool. I think it's great that Stanley Tucci had some players with him on a show and took him to one of his favorite restaurants. But he didn't take the whole team, and they hadn't won the gold medal yet. So anyway, there's that. Then, now Jack Hughes, the star, the guy who hit the winning goal for the United States hockey team, you thought maybe that, with all this controversy over the phone call and them celebrating at a club that's sometimes a strip club in Miami, or it's the clubs in Miami, there's always scantily people dancing on poles and shit. They celebrated at a Miami nightclub, right? Well, you'd think that the members of the U.S. hockey team would be booed once they came back to the United States of America. Well, here's the reception that the star Jack Hughes got from the New Jersey Devils as he returned from his triumphant winning goal in the U.S. Olympic, or in the Olympics.
Sure, the United States' first men's hockey goal. Medal since 1980. Devils fans, let's hear it for number 86, Jack Hughes.
Now, those oohs you hear are not boos, but they're Hughes. And he brought his they grabbed his teammate from the Buffalo Sabres. Let's see what he says. Maybe I'm not going to say anything. Yeah, sounds like the crowd at the hockey game were pretty mad that Jack Hughes was allowed to come back to the United States. Now, also, I'm giving you a few tidbits of hockey. Here's a good one. Now, I don't know if this is serious or not, but it's fucking hilarious. This is a TikToker talking about the controversy. And you just have to listen. You just have to listen. You don't even have to watch her. You can watch because, it's what you'd expect. But let's have a listen to this moment of brilliance from this young lady regarding hockey.
Literally only one way to solve this, and we're all thinking it. U.S. men's hockey team, if the women's hockey team is such a ha-ha-he-he joke, men versus women. I want to see the Olympic gold medal winning teams play each other, okay? Men versus women, head-to-head, two best teams in the world. Winner gets voting rights in the next election. I mean, there's a
Let me think about that. I would accept your terms, but it just wouldn't be fair. So, if the men's hockey team, which is full of NHL players, I'll take the top USA Juniors team and put them against the women's Olympic team. And look, women's hockey players playing against women, that's fantastic. I'm glad they won. But let's not pretend you even have a brain, young lady. And when I say young compared to me. If there were an actual hockey game between the U.S. men's Olympic team versus the U.S. women's Olympic team, I would guess that the final score would be about 70-0. I bet there'd be a lot of icing calls for the women's team, though. But that would be like the U.S. men's Olympic hockey team playing against 14-year-olds. Speed, strength, velocity of the puck. It would not be pretty. It just wouldn't be pretty. So anyway, I'm just saying that's just stupid. That's a stupid statement. But it's funny. It's funny as hell. And then finally, let's see. And then just some reminders of when, back in 2012, MSNBC attacked an American hockey player for choosing not to visit the White House under Obama. You remember this? I remember this. Listen to this.
It's time, as it always is, for What Now? Boston Bruins goalie Tim Thomas RSVP'd thanks, but no thanks to a White House invitation. What do we make of that? Tim Thomas points out that Tim Thomas said, I exercise my right as a free citizen and did not visit the White House. This was not about politics or party, as in my opinion, both parties are responsible for the situation we are in as a country.
I think this is kind of the hyper-partisanship that just irritates everybody. It's
wow.
Just go to the White House. You don't have to run an ad or cut a commercial or anything. Just go to the White House, take part, celebrate, just like everybody else celebrates with Republicans or Democratic presidents.
Especially
my,
when Georgia
how
honored.
the
Obama made
tables have
specific mention of him during his 6-minute address.
So, and now they're demanding that they don't be seen with the orange man. No, don't go. Finally, let's just do a hockey palate cleanser before we go. This may be I'm not even a hockey fan, but this goal in the in Minnesota, I don't know if this is at the state. No, they're not doing the state hockey tournament yet. Or maybe it hasn't started. I don't know. But anyway, this goal may be the only time you'll see a goal that looks like this. Ready? Here we go. This is Edina versus, looks like Matamidi. Oh, did you see that? You got to see it again. Look at the puck bounce here. Bounced off there, rolled up over the goal, and he just tap it in. Tap it in. That was wild. Who is that? Oh no, that's Wayzata. Edina versus Wayzata. By the way, when I first moved to Minnesota, I was a little bit freaked out about how the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament was such a big deal here. Back when there was only one class, they only had one class. They didn't even have classes. Everyone played in the same division. And there was a school up, I think at Roseau, Minnesota, that's like the school of, maybe 150 kids, was playing in the state finals against like some metro school, might have been Minnetonka, that has 30,000 kids. And I think Roseau might have even won that game. But the state hockey tournament here would sell out this giant arena. I think it was what was it called back then? Now it's Xcel Energy Center. But anyway, it would sell out the entire arena for an entire week, or entire weekend of hockey, of high school hockey, and it was televised, and it was like the biggest event in Minnesota. I've never seen anything like it because I came from Nebraska where hockey was pretty minor sport. You had club teams that played, but that was it. So I was like, holy shit, it's crazy here, and it's still that way. Even though now there's two divisions. There's a Division A and Division AA or whatever, and so the smaller schools all play. The small school can choose whether they're going to play in the upper division or lower division, and a couple of the tiny town schools still play in the upper division. But it's wild. The Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament is just a phenomenon. It's wild. All right, let's finish up with a bunch of other stuff that I'm not getting too deeply into. Capitol Police arrested Ilhan Omar's guest at the State of the Union for refusing to sit during Trump's State of the Union. A 43-year-old software engineer from Minneapolis, a guest of Representative Ilhan Omar, was forcibly removed and arrested on a misdemeanor charge after ignoring orders during the February 24th State of the Union. Rahman, who has autism, and a traumatic brain injury and shoulder issues, received hospital treatment for a torn rotator cuff before release. Omar called the police response heavy-handed and demanded an explanation, while the night highlighted the deep partisan divides with cheers from Republicans and Democrat heckles and about 50 boycotts. So anyway, also, by the way, apparently Representative Kamek, a Republican from Florida, purposely infiltrated the Democratic side of the aisle during Trump's State of the Union address, enthusiastically stood up and clapped for America so the cameras caught the stark contrast. It worked. Democrats are doing damage control. So here's what she did. This is funny.
So we actually have a little something tonight for our friends on the left, and you'll have to tune in to see what we're planning. I think that that's really what people saw last night, was that clear divide of people who are willing to stand up for America and those that are going to sit on their hands. And so you saw that clear divide in the room. I was the only Republican sitting on the Democrat side because I believe you need to lead by example.
We're willing to stand for America, and they just want to sit it out. That is what America needs to think about when they go to vote in these November midterms.
America is...
All right, so there you go. I'm not going to let them play Freebird on my channel. Anyway, also, Capitol... Okay, for some reason, that story was so popular, it was in the feature stories twice. So... Capitol Police arrest Omar's State of the Union guest for refusing to sit. Now, also interesting though is in this one though, more hockey stuff. So if you want to see more of that, you can. And then here's why he was arrested. Aliyah Rahman, guest of Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat in Minnesota, was arrested by Capitol Police during President Donald Trump's State of the Union address Tuesday night. For alleged unlawful conduct and disruption of Congress. Rahman, a Minneapolis, Minnesota resident, had been invited by Omar following her detention last month after refusing lawful orders from federal immigration agents to move her vehicle in an apparent attempt to interfere with U.S. immigration and customs enforcement operations. At the time, the Department of Homeland Security stated that Rahman ignored multiple commands by an officer to move her vehicle away from the scene. She was arrested along with 6 other alleged anti-ICE agitators, though Rahman insists she was actually en route to a medical appointment. During a State of the Union address, Rahman was standing silently when officers asked her to sit down, which she refused, according to police. Now, this is Capitol Police. Aren't they generally, the Capitol Police are pretty much nonpartisan, right? These aren't like, Trump's Gestapo. If they played Creed, Marty would have let it run. Ha! Can you take me higher? Anyway, that's the only song I even know by Creed, because the only reason I know it is I hear it played in like the music in a place I work all the time. Anyway, the guest was told to sit down but refused to obey the lawful orders. It is illegal to disrupt the Congress and demonstrate in the congressional buildings. Ramos was arrested and charged with unlawful conduct. She was later taken to George Washington University Hospital for treatment after allegedly sustained injuries during the arrest. Well, so she's famous for being arrested twice. There you go. Kansas law has invalidated transgender residents' driver's license, according to a report. A new Kansas law passed by Republican majorities overriding Governor Laura Kelly's veto requires driver's licenses and IDs to match biological sex at birth, affecting an estimated 1,500 to 1,800 people who must now surrender and replace their credentials for about $30 each. Now, the one part of this I think they probably should have done was it allow them to replace their licenses for free, but I don't necessarily disagree with the law. Letters from the Division of Vehicles warned recipients their documents became invalid upon the law's publication, with driving on an expired license risking misdemeanor charges, fines up to $1,000. Well, it wouldn't be a misdemeanor charge; it would be a administrative citation for ticket. Well, maybe. Oh no, driving without an expired license, that is a misdemeanor. Anyway, fines of up to $1,000 in jail time. Transgender residents voice fears online about reaching DMVs without valid IDs, voting access, and other daily hurdles, while the law also flags over 1,800 birth certificates for changes amid expected legal challenges. So clearly there's an uproar about that. God, why'd they have to put that picture? If you want to see, there is a letter from the state of Kansas this person got explaining what they have to do. So that's interesting. Okay. Also, a truck driver in Missouri driving the wrong way down the highway prompts a federal probe. On February 25th, north of Troy, Missouri, a semi-truck from Cargo Transportation LLC drove south in northbound lanes of U.S. Highway 61, endangering drivers until the Missouri State Patrol troopers intervened. They cited the Minnesota licensed driver, oh my God, for wrong way driving after he failed to identify road signs, placed him out of service, but provided no details on his nationality or immigration status. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy praised the quick response and launched a federal motor carrier safety administration investigation into the new Hopkins, Minnesota-based carrier amid public concerns over trucking safety and CDL standards. How the hell do you end up on the wrong side of the road? Truck is reportedly registered to a Minnesota-based company. You got to be kidding. This is how Americans get killed. CDL systems should be fully federalized. Too many foreigners can't read English signs or drive. Well, we don't know. Let's see here. This is him.
61.
And he's filming the cops.
He is on the northbound lanes of 61, going the wrong way.
A frickin' semi.
You can see I'm going southbound on 61. He's in the northbound lanes on Highway 61.
Holy shit. Imagine that disaster. How does he know where he's going? That's just it. So I don't know why they have this picture of this guy here. Let's see. We finally figured it out. Now, unfortunately, I don't think that anyone has any video of them. Now this says a Missouri driver encountered an illegal alien driving the wrong way for miles down Highway 61. We don't know for sure who the driver of the vehicle was. This man is driving home, turns onto the highway. All of a sudden, he noticed that all of the cars are driving towards him. He is outraged and confused. He doesn't know where all these cars are coming from or why they're going the wrong way. Should pull over and figure it out. This is not the trucker, though.
I ain't never in my 28 years of life seen no shit like this, bro. Like, this is crazy. Where y'all coming from, bro?
Yeah, you're on the wrong side of the road,
right,
dummy.
Bro just told me to turn around and all.
All right, anyway. And then, and also Jill Biden's trending. Apparently, someone was pointing out that Jill Biden had a White House staff of 23, costing taxpayers $2.4 million a year. First Lady Melania Trump has cut the size of the office of the First Lady to a staff of just 5, saving the taxpayers $1.7 million a year. And saying, I wonder why the media hasn't covered this. Well, people are dragging Melania Trump. Well, she doesn't do anything, and Jill Biden was doing important shit, blah, 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 blah. The First Lady has no duties. The First Lady's not elected. The First Lady having a staff is bad enough. But 23 people, why? So anyway, that's something going on. And there's a bunch of other headlines, but I got to be done. So I want to finish, though, with a palate cleanser before we go. So let me just, let me do a couple things here because you got to see this. It's very funny and it's enjoyable. And it's worth the time. By the way, FTG Jill Biden. It's worth just the time. And, a lot of times I go and put the links in the chat and all that shit. Oh, let's check the Q&A first. Let's check the Q&A and then we'll do that. Oops, wrong one. There we go. So the question in Q&A was, if you're going to make a counter video to that Canadian video, what characters and restaurants would you use? Okay, what characters and restaurants would you use? Lord Stanhope says, Florida Panthers. Oh, hell yeah. Get some of those Panthers up there. Avocados Diabli. Paul Bunyan riding a giant alligator with Pico's bill and his tornado bringing up the rear, surrounded by millions of Fett zombies. Oh, my. That'd be awesome. Selected Boy says, easy. Trudeau, Wawa, Grizzly Bears, American Eagles, and Philadelphia sports fans. Oh, God. Yeah, you could take, there's a whole list of different regional people that you throw in there. Throw in a couple Cajuns down the swamps, bring in alligators. You throw some, a couple of the zombies from LA streets. Darren Root, Burger King, Colonel Sanders, Florida Man, Chuck Norris. Yeah, Chuck Norris. Some Harley riders and Teddy Roosevelt. Fuck yeah. Sob Double Nation, Eagles, Cougars, and Bison armed with products with Walmart and Buc-ee's logos. Much more artillery, though. Rebel flags adorn everything. Maddie, Waffle House and artillery would be Popeye's dry-ass biscuits. Hell yeah. Oh, and here's a tongue twister from Madame Goddess Diabli. Tongue twister. She sits shitting incessantly, and such shits as she shits sitting slip from her shitty seat like chic sliding shipside slippers. Wasn't bad. Lord Stand Up, drunk Puerto Ricans. Don't fuck with the drunk Puerto Ricans. Avocado Stallion, I'm not a pheasant plucker. I'm a pheasant plucker's son. Oh, that's a tongue twister. I'm not a pheasant plucker. I'm a pheasant plucker's son. You're just throwing tongue twisters at me. One sock cutter, he cuts socks. Two sock cutters, they cut socks. These are easy. Lord Stand Up, the Sons of the Confederate States of America. Oh, and then Q&A. You put it in the Q&A section, though. The American Army. Hey, that's all you'd need. One division of Marines. Take out the entire Canadian army, armed forces. Oh, and I could have put Bruce Lee in as well. Oh, hell yeah. Bruce Lee. That was a harder tongue twister than what Avocado Stabby gave me. All right, thank you for doing the Q&A, guys. Appreciate that. And let's finish with a little palate cleanser, just because it's so damn cute. It is so damn cute that you got to see this. It's funny and it's cute. Let me pause it though here because I got to start it. Here's our palate cleanser before we go, and it's courtesy of this. Of these doggos and a belly dancer. If you haven't seen this, it's quite funny. Here we go. Hang on a second. Let me get out of the question section. There we go. Back in the live chat. Gotcha. All right. Here's the palate cleanser before we go. Take a look at this. The dog's pissed off. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I laughed the same way. Every time I see it, I laugh. The dog gets so pissed off. One more time. Turn that TV back on, motherfucker. And the little growl, and the other dog's like, come on, man, turn that back on. All right, that'll be in the links too. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on the Morning Night Live. I'll be back tomorrow, Free for All Friday. Bring your questions for Q&A. Oh, please tell me. Oh, there we go. Okay. I have to do this. Oh, it's so much more work to share this page. Drives me insane. We'll do 1 year and share. Oh, anyway, here you go. Here's today's links. The last link before the aggregator is that little video. I just think it's so funny. Here are the links. Bam. Gotta go. Thank you. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.